I used to think that in a relationship, you have to compromise. That is kind of like how you make it work, you know. And in some areas, it's true, you have to. But there are also areas where it should not even be negotiated. So now looking back, I realized that I was losing myself, not in some big things, but, you know, in some things which look so small, you don't notice, like the way you eat, the way you sleep, my natural rhythm, you know. And then you slowly lose yourself without noticing, you know, piece by piece, giving yourself up. Not because your partner is toxic, which was not my case. My partner was not toxic or controlling or something. But because you think that this is what you're supposed to do in a relationship. Does it sound familiar? Do you have any experience like this? Funny enough, even if you do, you might not notice it. In this video, I would like to talk about things which should be compromised in a relationship and which should not. How actually to stay free in a relationship and not losing yourself. And I see people lose themselves all the time in a relationship. Not only it was my experience, but I see people do it in some cases, in some big areas, especially if they have a controlling partner, like, or maybe a toxic partner even, but also in small areas. I invite you to participate in this conversation. I want you to share your experience because on the channel, I want to learn how to connect to other people in a genuine way, but also in the way, you know, like real analog way. And at the same time that you can be free, that because I'm a free spirit, you know, I'm a free spirit and I want to keep my freedom no matter if I'm in a relationship or not. And you can hear grown-up people, like even in their 50s or 60s, saying, I'm in my late 40s myself, I have some life experience, and I hear grown-up people saying, I want to be single because I want to keep my freedom. And I'm like, what kind of freedom do you mean? I want to drink coffee when I want. You know how ridiculous it can be sometimes, but funny enough, I also have similar experience. Okay, so if you don't mind, I want to use my whiteboard so I can write things like things should be compromised and things which should not, because I like this old analog style, you know, doing things with my hand, writing with my own hand. I love that. Get something to drink and let's talk about it. So let's talk about things which are non-negotiable, so to say, in a relationship. I'm not sure I'm spelling it right. Negotiable. I think so. And things which need compromise, yeah? Yes. Maybe we should start with things which are not negotiable. Yeah. And this is everything which is related. And I'm talking from my experience and also from what I see. Like, I want to maybe even share some personal stuff. Let's see. Maybe not too much. I don't like... But at the same time, you know, lived experience is something that actually happens to people, you know, it's not some theory. You know? So first one is your body. Your body, yes. And basic, like, daily routines. I really have trouble with spelling this. Routines. Okay, guys, you have to forgive me. I really doubt this is correct. I think something is wrong here, but I meant routines. Sometimes good to practice to write with your own hand, because I think nowadays we forget it. Life has become too digital. As long as it's not artificial, it's already good. So your body and daily routines. My personal experience was like I was losing myself in this department. I was starting losing myself in this department. And this is the place where you and your partner have some differences in daily routines, which is totally all right because you're different people. And maybe one person likes to get up and start, working out, or driving to a gym and working out there, The other likes to have an easy morning with a coffee and, or maybe having a breakfast right away, There are so many things which might not fit here. And my personal experience and opinion that this is not something that you should adjust. And I was trying to adjust myself here to my ex-husband, in this case. But when I learned over time that I'm not happy, and as a result, he's also not happy because the relationship is being disturbed, with the fact that I'm not happy. So at some point, and we were quite different when it comes to daily routines, like the eating schedule or what we do in the morning, My morning routine was completely different. Everything was different. Timing was different. Activities were different. And at some point, I was insisting on, just having your own rhythm and just letting you do whatever you do. To the point that I said we should have like separate even bedrooms that we can choose when we do what, we can, visit each other, whatever, in those separate bedrooms, we can do things together in the bedrooms, but we also should have our own bedrooms and our own space and our own, because we are just so different on this level. And this is like maybe coming back to this, what I hear from especially women. I want to be single because I want to drink my coffee when I want. And as ridiculous as it sounds, I think it's not only about coffee. And in your relationship, I'm quite sure you should keep the freedom to drink your coffee when you want. And it's not only, again, about coffee. It's about these routines that you want to start your day the way you want it. And I think it's sad that people don't keep this freedom in their relationship and have to separate because they have different drinking schedules, coffee drinking. And, but this, I can relate very much because I was trying to adjust myself because I thought this is what a wife should do. But no, no, this is not. I mean, there are other things which need compromise. When it comes, of course, if you have like small kids or whatever other family members in place, in-house, or elderly parents you have to take care of, right, in the morning. There are so many other things where actually you need to compromise. And I would put right away here, family, Family. So any kind of additional relatives living with you, small children, I mean, teenagers, they already want to do their own thing very often. And grown-up children, it's better not to live with their parents, even though sometimes it works. Really, it can be very different. But also, if you have elderly parents, there might be... Family is something you need to compromise. This is not negotiable, you know. This is also non-negotiable, that you have to compromise. Like children, no matter if you have children together or if it's only his children or only your children, it doesn't matter. Family is something you have to compromise, and children very much, yeah. So, but you know, those people, they say, I want to drink coffee when I want. They are not talking about children, really. They are talking about adjusting to their partner's rhythm. So your body, your daily routine, your own rhythm, you should keep in a relationship. And in my case, I said, you know, I want to have a separate bedroom. I want to wake up when I want, you know. Also on weekends, you know, because, you know, some people are totally fine to wake up at 5 o'clock on weekends because it's their natural rhythm. They don't set an alarm clock and they wake up. Other people want to sleep in when they are like have a day off. And it's all should be, I think, if you want to keep your freedom in the relationship and not, you know, lose yourself in a relationship. My personal experience was that, and I'm so happy that I came to this realization, because first, also in our cultures, it's like nonsense. People think it's nonsense to sleep in separate bedrooms, you know. I mean, you don't have to. You can also sleep in the same bedroom. But this choice that you have, if your partner wants to go to bed earlier or later, then you would not disturb each other, you know. You do your own thing, and you have the choice to sleep in one bed or sleep in separate, you know, bedrooms, whatever, when you want. Not only drinking coffee when you want, but also doing other things when you want, you know. And yeah, so I'm happy. And in our case, this really helped because I felt more happy. I felt like I really start my day the way I want, and so on. And this is not only like separate bedrooms, it's also about eating routines. My eating routine was quite different to his. And first, I also tried to adjust, but why? It was not making me happy at all. And at some point, I said, you know, I want to eat when I want to eat. And I have my like personal schedule. Nowadays, it's like, it's a variation of intermediate fasting, but not too much, not too strict. So that's why it would be different to a person who has like more normal breakfast, lunch, dinner kind of schedule when it comes to eating. So this also, I was trying to adjust myself, but then I thought, why? My body tells me it's better for me. I feel better when I eat this way. Yeah. So again, food has to do a lot with food. Food surprisingly plays a big role in our lives. So when it comes to food, I want to share with you my personal experience, which is now when I think it's so ridiculous, but it's my experience. I went through it. Again, my partner was not controlling anything. But if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I like broccoli. And my partner didn't like broccoli. So I was thinking, you know, actually I'm quite easy with food. I like almost everything, which is food. You know, I try to eat healthy and I manage that pretty well. And my ex-husband, he didn't like broccoli at all. And I thought, he doesn't like it, so better I don't buy broccoli, I don't cook it, because he doesn't like it. And it sounds so harmless. Yeah, people have bigger problems than not eating broccoli or eating broccoli in this life. But you know what? These small details, they result in people split because they want to have the freedom to drink their coffee when they want, or to eat their broccoli when they want, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. But, people split and families suffer, and, it's crazy because of those small details. The devil is in those details, actually. At some point, I thought, it was like many years later, I thought, this is ridiculous. I have not been eating broccoli for years. Even though it's a healthy vegetable, I like it. Nobody told me not to eat it, but I was doing it myself because I had this crazy idea that you have to negotiate this. Come on, this is so crazy. And this is when people lose themselves, how people lose themselves in small things without them even noticing it, step by step. And if you adjust yourself, to all those small things, at some point you really lose yourself because you don't live your life the way you want. And those daily routines, they make up our life. Our life consists of small routines we daily repeat. So even though it seems as harmless as drinking coffee when you want, or eating broccoli or not, in my case, this is huge. This is huge because, again, you can lose yourself and then not feel free in a relationship. Then don't build your own jail in a relationship, And also with the food, actually, I guess it happens more than we think, because I remember also if we went out, because he's like very picky with food compared to me. I like food, I like vegetable, I like meat and stuff. Because I'm quite picky, he. So very often, if he would suggest sometimes to buy some set for 2 people, which was like what he wanted. And because this was also something that I liked, I very often said yes. But now really, I think I should not have said yes many times. I mean, sometimes okay, but not as often as I did, because going out is the time where you pick up what you genuinely want today, not the time to adjust to your partner or anything. So things like this, I really had to, and again, actually, when we met, he was vegetarian. And I'm not a vegetarian. When I was 17, I've tried to be a vegetarian for 1 week. It did not work. So I quit the idea. And funny enough that he changed and started eating meat after a while. I don't know if because of me, if this was his way to adjust. I have no idea now. But actually he did change his food habits. And I now really wonder if this was his way of adjusting and if this was the right way. Because sometimes some adjustment can be like, I try what you like and let's see if I like it too. And also like, because I was also trying some things like sports that he was doing, because I was genuinely interested in the sport myself, in this type of sport. And it was Aikido, and I thought, I like it. So I started doing this sport, and broke my rib. So I couldn't do it for many months. And then I just didn't start again, So I don't know. This was my way to adjust, or I think not, because I generally was interested in this sport. But again, it didn't work out, so. Okay, so the next point, which should not be negotiable, is your values, Funny enough, I started with this because I think this is where people don't notice it. My experience, guilty of this one. Because my values, I'm a free spirit. Of course, I would never change my values. This is me, This is very clear to me. But this one, I see people do all the time. Like everything when it comes to spirituality, like religion or non-religion, any kind of spirituality. I see people change their religion because of the husband or because of the wife. I see people quitting their religion because the partner is atheist. This is a lot. This I see really a lot. I think it's very strange. Like, how would you change your values? Something as serious as something you believe in, your belief systems, values, belief systems. Like how do you change it just because your partner is different? I think this is non-negotiable. This should be non-negotiable. I think family is not the place to missionarize. Everybody should be free to believe or not believe. And this was very clear for me, like since I was a child. This was like absolutely not my problem but I see this one, and people really lose themselves in relationships, changing their values, changing their identity, changing their core things, So this one is very huge, but I want to mention this one here. And yeah, let me know what you think. You think it's okay? Okay, I was a Christian, now I become whatever, different, Oh, I was an atheist, but my partner is this, so let's go to the church. Is it okay? I mean, it's okay to try the other belief system if you open it, if there is no pressure, if you have genuine curiosity, maybe something like this, it's okay. But I see people really doing it in a funny way, And also looks like they don't notice that they are kind of losing themselves in this. Actually, big time. So let's talk about things where we need to compromise. I already mentioned family. There's huge thing. Children, parents. You cannot say I ignore your parents because I don't like them, or I ignore your children, or whatever. This is non-negotiable, that it should be compromised. That his family has place in your life, or the other way around. This is and unless it's something really toxic going on, then you can. But if it's somebody who lives in the same place with you, then especially in this case, you have to compromise. And second thing I think, but let me know what you think. I think when it comes to job opportunity, job or business opportunity. Yeah, job business. This is a funny way to write it, but then it fits, So this one is also huge. if somebody has a job or business opportunity in a different place, maybe a different country, maybe a different city, different state, and you have to move together. This one is huge. And this is very much where I think people need to compromise. And I guess in this case, I would say traditionally the woman should compromise this one. But in general, I would say the one who earns more money or who has a bigger job opportunity or a greater business or whatever, you can negotiate together, like what would be a win-win for your family, so to say. Maybe it's a woman, Traditionally, it would be a man. So if he has an opportunity somewhere else, that the whole family would move, that you move with your partner somewhere else. But anyway, this is something you need to talk and you need to compromise. And the other person who is compromising should be supported in this case, because like the other person might lose the job or might lose the opportunity, and the person then who is getting the better opportunity should then support the other one more. And it should be like, it should be clear. Yeah. This is very big, but very important to have a family compromise on that one. Here, this next one is your interests. Yeah, your interests. And this is everything, like, it's also like your personality, yeah? Maybe your personality goes different, but your interest can be any kind of clubs, any kind of hobbies, any kind, also friends. Your interest, your friends, yeah? Friends, clubs. This is funny in here. Clubs. Hobbies. Hobbies. So basically, this is something that you should not negotiate. Like, if you have some interests, if you have some hobbies, if you have some friends, or some kind of like, you go to some club and it's important for you. I don't mean like a nightclub, but some hobby. Then, because nightclub should be actually, I think it should be compromised. If you're in a relationship and you go alone to a nightclub, this is kind of like, I think nightclub belongs here. What do you think? We're doing it together now, spontaneously. It's a brainstorming. I would say, this may be only my opinion, night, is it correct? Club. I think nightclub is something that should be compromised in a relationship. It's not like your partner stays at home and you go and get drunk in a bar. That's like, this is strange. I think for both men and women, this is kind of like, this should be negotiable. Yeah. But if you have some kind of like, for example, my ex-husband, he went to a couple of clubs. Actually, we met in a club. So we already had a community of friends together, and this was very good because it's like common values, common interests. That was very good. But also he had some clubs where I never been before. And he kept them, and I think it should be like this. Funny enough, I joined some of it, like sports club, no, as you already know, but biker club, I joined, and I don't think I was adjusting myself because I genuinely had interest, even though I was not, I prefer driving a car and driving a motorbike. And I joined the club at some point as a visitor, you know, like as a friend, not really a club member. He was a club member, and I joined it, and I would ride on the back, you know, back seat, and I like the community, I like the parties. So basically I joined his club in a way as a friend, not as a member. And then also he went for shooting club, and I also tried it it was fun, yeah. So I went to the shooting club with him as well, so I learned how to shoot, and yeah, this was not me adjusting. I was trying things out. I was curious about his interest, and I liked it, so I joined. In my case, like everything which is like nature and spending time in nature is almost spiritual. I don't know where to put my love for nature, here or here. And actually, he didn't have that much love for this. He didn't share this love so much, I would say. And that was okay, you know. So I had to go hiking with friends, you know, I had to like do my own way and enjoy nature, you know, without him. Sometimes he would go with me, but it was not his like favorite thing. He would prefer driving a bike or going shooting, you know. So this, we had to, anyway, we kept our own values. So we kept our values, we kept our interests. Some of his interests I joined. Sometimes he would join my nature adventures. And yeah, also I traveled more than him for different reasons, you know, like for different purposes I traveled, and he did not. So there were some things I was doing and he was doing separately, and it was okay, totally fine. So let me think. Yeah, the next one, which is not negotiable, is your personality. Personality. And this is like very fine, and this could be different things. Maybe it's the way you express yourself, the way you love. Funny enough, sometimes the partner doesn't like the way you love, you know. This is already a red flag, I think. You know, if the partner is making comments about the way you dress, unless it's like very revealing kind of clothes. Revealing clothes, I think it belongs here. I mean, if you are in a relationship, wearing revealing clothes, and usually women are guilty of this, because, you know, when you go shopping, and they sell so much things which are so revealing for women. Not so much for men, but for women, they sell a lot of revealing stuff, like, you know, showing everywhere everything. It's quite crazy. So I think my personal, and let me know what you think, because I don't know, there's like, you don't hear even people talk about this so much. It's just my own experience, and I really truly wonder what you think. I have a lot of experienced people on this channel. It's mostly 40 plus. It's mostly like midlife and beyond, you know, Gen X, boomers. So I would like to know what you think, because this is not something they teach you in school or whatever, you know. So I think revealing clothes belongs here. It should be compromise. If you are very much into revealing clothes, and just suddenly, spontaneously now, an example came into my mind. I was flying the other way, and at the airport, I saw a couple, and she was wearing like this leggings, which were like very transparent and pink. I mean, and that was it, you know, leggings and some short t-shirt or something. And like you could see everything there. And I looked at it and I thought they both look so ridiculous. She looks ridiculous, but also her partner. So she makes her partner look ridiculous because, like, why would you wear something like this if you are in a relationship? You know? And from the way they were talking to each other, it was obvious they are like together, you know, like they are a couple. But when it comes to your personal style, like whether you want to use makeup, for example, or whether you're not. And I don't use makeup. Like in my life, I had maybe 10 times, I didn't count, but around 10 times occasions where I used makeup. But believe it or not, there are men who also want their women to use makeup. This also happens. It's not only that men don't want women to use makeup, there are also that they do. This also can be. But this is non-negotiable. It's your body. You should decide. In this case, it's really your body and your personality. Yeah, if you want to use makeup, if you have like I have my own style of dressing, and if a man would want me to dress too romantic, like I'm not a very romantic kind of style when it comes to dressing. I am more maybe either casual or classic, something in between, I guess. And I have my own style, which has to do with comfort in the first place, yeah. And also, like, I don't like too much of a bright things going on, or too much things at all. So, simple style, yeah. And if my partner would want me to wear very romantic, you know, kind of style, or very extravagant, too many things, or maybe makeup, or maybe too many rings, or whatever, this would not be me, you know, sorry, no. So your personality, the way you express yourself in your clothing, unless it's revealing, I think, or in your emotional expression, you know, like your personality, you can be melancholic, you can be introvert. I'm more of an introvert. I mean, I'm very much of an introvert. I'm probably not melancholic. I'm quite positive. So, yeah. But anyways, this video is not about this in particular, but just everything which is like also belongs to you, your personality. Yeah? So what else do we need to compromise? Mutual schedule, yeah, time together. Of course, as a couple, you're going to do things together that make sense. So this you have to compromise. Maybe if you want to travel somewhere, one time your partner decides where, the other time you decide, yeah. So you take turns, or deciding which restaurant you want to visit, yeah, or deciding how much time you want to spend together. So all time together, activities together, this needs to compromise, of course. It's not that only one partner. And also this, you cannot decide yourself. It should be some mutual thing. So let me think. Did I miss something important here? it looks like I said most of it. So I think if you want to stay free in a relationship and not to lose yourself, and at the same time, if you want to be a responsible partner, you know, and accept your partner the way he or she is, then one needs to learn like what belongs to what category and where it's okay to compromise and where not. And try to create the most comfortable, the most nice atmosphere and space for your partner so that he or she can feel free in the relationship too, you know? And at the same time, so accepting your partner the way he or she is, and at the same time understand that there are some things which can be very important, like family and job, you know, time together and stuff like that. Important things that you have to also talk and adjust, and it should be mutual, like 50% here, 50 there, not like one partner deciding everything. But of course, depending on, like, it can be like in one thing, one is more dominant because this is maybe one is very business oriented and earns a lot of money. Then in this sphere, I would say this person also should kind of decide more, you know. So it can be different. It's not necessarily 50-50, but in general, it's kind of like 50-50, I would say. It's just in some areas you have more expertise and more experience, and probably you decide more, and in some less, something like this. Again, I'm not an expert. I share my personal experience. Maybe I got a little bit too private in this video, which it's not so much my thing. But again, lived experience, real experience is not some theoretical ideas, and it makes sense because, you know, otherwise you can end up being single because you just want to eat your broccoli, you know, and, you know, you can end up so ridiculous and not understanding that you have given your life piece by piece to somebody, adjusting to somebody who never even asked you to adjust, and then not understanding why relationship feels like not freedom, even though relationship can feel like freedom, joy, and a lot of meaning together. Let me know what you think, like what is your experience? Because I'm learning. I'm learning too, and on this channel I want to help people figure it out, how to connect to other people, how to keep your freedom at the same time. I think it's a very important topic. Connection to other people, you know, and I think this ability, this skill, we are losing as a humanity in general, because everything becomes more superficial and artificial. So staying grounded and staying analog and connecting to each other in real life, and being able to communicate and keep relationships, I think is a very important skill in this new world full of chaos. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I would love to see you in the next video. All the best.